behalf of Communiqué IIT Kharagpur, we extend a hearty welcome to the second day of our internship training week for a panel discussion on core profile. Since a lot of us aspire to pursue research in core fields, we hope that this discussion will turn out to be fruitful to all of you.
Today, we have a great set of panelists with us who will give you plenty of insights. So now I would like to introduce them to everyone. First, we have Mr. Prince Raj, who has secured an internship in LAM research. So Prince, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi everyone, myself Prince Raj. Currently, I am a fourth year undergraduate in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. I am currently interning at LAM Research, which manufactures the devices for Intel and Samsung for the chip making process. I'll let you know about how to get intern at LAM Research in further discussion. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prince. Next, we have Mr. Prajwal Yadav, who has secured an internship in Bajaj Auto. So Prajwal, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Prajwal. I'm a fourth year undergraduate student of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, pursuing a BTech course. I'm from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, and currently I'm doing the internship at Bajaj Auto. I'm posted at the manufacturing facility at Chakan. It's near Pune. So we'll discuss about it later.
Okay, thank you, Prajwal. Our third panelist for the discussion is Anubhav Prasad, who has secured an internship in NVIDIA. So, Anubhav, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience? Anubhav, you're not audible.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. Hello everyone. So I'm Anubhav Prasad. I'm a fourth year undergrad at ECE department. Currently I'm interning at NVIDIA, which is the main manufacturer of GPU in the industry. So I'll let you know about this internship process in the later discussion.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Anubhav.
Anubhav. Now, before starting the discussion, I would like to congratulate the panelists for their achievements. We are looking forward to learning a lot from you. So now, as we begin, there are a number of companies that recruit interns, and it could be difficult to find one that suits you best. So how to prioritize a company? Prince, would you like to begin?
Yes, it totally depends upon your interest and for example in core profile if you want to go, then there are certain companies who come for automation domain and certain will be there for chemical domain. So I mean you can choose like what your interests are and do talk to seniors which have done internship in that company to know more about the company culture and then select accordingly. Yes.
That's great, Prince. Uh, Prajwal, would you go next? Uh, Prajwal, are we audible to you?
Sorry, I had some connectivity issue. So we are discussing about prioritizing company, right? So for mechanical core, like basically on day one there are HL and ITC. They come for managerial roles, and then after that we have Bajaj and all other companies. So it becomes very easy if we say that. If there are two roles. First one is managerial role. If you want to opt for the managerial role, HL, ITC, and also Bajaj has some managerial roles, and then JLR and all they come for the core research roles. So you're more inclined to that side. Go for.
Okay. Anubhav, please share your insights.
Yeah, so basically regarding the prioritizing companies, you just first be like sure on what field you want to work. Like for me, it was digital domain, so I decided to work on digital. And for every company, there is a digital profile. So I don't need to like decide which company, because in digital profile, all the companies work on similar tasks. It's not that one is working totally different from others. Mostly they will be working on verification only. Like in India, mostly the work is on verification only. And for analog, if you want to go for analog, then there are a few other companies. All the companies don't have analog profiles, so then you are just like bound to only two three companies similar for signal processing and embedded system. So decide on what profile you want to intern. Don't select company right now. Don't discriminate any company at internship, because the work is almost similar. Like it's better to decide a profile.
Thank you, Anubhav. That was pretty insightful.
Moving on to the next question. There's always a doubt about the selection procedure for the companies that offer internships, which makes the process a bit daunting for the students. Could you highlight a generalized selection procedure for the same? So, Prajwal, would you like to answer this first?
Yeah. So for Bajaj, the first round was the test. It was like MCQ test. It was like 90 minutes, 90 questions. So they were just testing the speed. Then there was CV selection round. Then there were two rounds of interviews. And generally in core companies, we have seen that the first round is always about the test. And then CV select, like if you clear the test, CV selection is not much an issue. And the two rounds of interview, first one is the technical round. Then we have HR round. So it's a
Okay, okay, that's nice. Anubhav, please share your insights with us.
Okay, hello. So yeah, regarding general selection process, so for every company there is a written test for core EC, except for Google Hardware, they directly do CV shortlisting. And it's kind of bit random for Google Hardware. Like it's not yet out that on what basis they shortlist CV. Sometimes it's basis on department, then sometimes CG. Like not, it's not a very formal, like very hard and fast rule that they will select your CV on the basis of core project or something like that. Rest, except Google Hardware, all the companies have a written test, and then followed by technical interviews. For some companies there are one interview, then for some there are two interviews. And like for Google Hardware there is two interview. For Nvidia it was just one. For Texas Instruments also they conducted two interviews for some profile, and for some profile they just took one interview. And HR interview is not for me. What happened is in only one interview they asked for both technical questions and two three HR questions. And for some companies they take HR interview separately. So it's mostly like a selection test and written test and then interview.
Okay, that's nice to hear. So, Prince, would you like to say something about this?
Yes, I'd like to extend it for LAM research. For LAM, there was this CV shortlisting only. There was no test, and there was only one interview. And in that, the interview was around for 2 hours. In that only, they asked HR questions. So, like in CV shortlisting, your projects and internships became, too important. So there was no CGPA cutoff. They selected even students from 7.5 CGPA. Like around 7.5 is nice, but the complete selection was on the basis of the internships and projects.
Okay, that was well said.
So, moving on. As we know, building a good CV is highly important. There are some points which one must know while building a CV. So, panelists, please enlighten us on the essentialities of a good CV. Anubhav, would you like to go on this first?
Okay, yes, hello. Yeah, so for CV, like, okay, so here, like, there is a difference between BTech and dual degree students. For BTech students, they don't expect anything like to do like any internship or any project. it's not really compulsory for BTech students. Uh, the CV is not really that important. Like for me, they didn't ask like for in NVIDIA they didn't ask anything related to CV. And for dual degree, it's better to have one or two project, core project. Maybe you can work under a professor because what happened for dual degree is that they have completed their third year and then companies expect them to know all the concepts for like whatever they will be working on. So and after completing 3 years, it's like the department curriculum is already completed, so they expect a bit of project. So it's better to have a project for dual degree students. For BTech students, it's not much mandatory. And one thing is CG also. CG also matters in core profile. Uh, like it's better to have 8.5 plus. Uh, for some companies, like for some time, Nvidia keep the cutoff 9. It for us it was 8.5, but previous years internally they set the cutoff to 9. And some companies took students who have very high CG, like Qualcomm took students who have CG close to 9.5. So CG also matters here.
Okay, that's great. Prince, would you like to go next?
Yes, if you are targeting the core profile, CGPA matters. Like for some companies who come initially, like ITC, they have a CGPA cutoff around around 9, and there are there like but I mean, if you have a good research experience, if you are in some research groups like AGB or TeamCart, or you have some good internships and projects, then if your CGPA is even around 7.5, then that's good. In fact, LAM research selected around 10 people which had CGPA of around less than 8.5, and just on the basis of their projects and internships. So that matters, but not much in some companies. Yeah.
That's nice. So Prajwal, please share insights regarding this.
Yeah. For like core profiles, CV does not matter at the CV selection process, but it matters a lot in the interview because because they just want to know that if you are interested in mechanical core, because retention rate is very important for core companies. So the mistake I made, like I wrote a machine learning project in my CV, and that went on for 15 minutes. Like I have to justify them why I am doing machine learning and all. So like the, build a good CV, and projects helps a lot. Like being in a research group, it was a help for me. If you are not in a research group, have a good project from Kharagpur professor, or it's good to have some other IIT's name or IISc projects in the CV. And write about your coursework, but whatever courses you are writing, like you should have a clear theory about every subject you are writing, especially for the first subject you write. I wrote thermodynamics, and mostly they are from thermodynamics. That's it. If you are writing any other subjects, have a deep knowledge in those subjects. Yes.
Thank you, Prajwal.
Moving on to the next question. As recruitment season begins, pressure builds up and everyone tries to find a suitable approach or strategy to cope with the same and get well prepared. So, panelists, I kindly request you to throw some light on this topic. So, Prince, would you like to take up this question first?
Okay. So last moment you can prepare some of the important topics. Like for BTech students, they must have done thermodynamics or fluid mechanics or solid mechanics. So these are some important courses, and you do not need to do everything from the scratch. Like in thermodynamics, you just need to revise all the thermodynamic cycles which are there in solid mechanics, the failure theories, and I mean, those are important. And fluid mechanics, like Navier-Stokes theorem, is there, and some of the technical terms are there. So you just need to go through. You just need to point out those important uh, topics and just prepare that only. And like even I'd suggest to brush up your DSA skills as well, and do prepare some like quantitative aptitudes. Like they'll ask you that in the tests. So that's it.
Okay, that was informative. So Prajwal, please share your strategy with us.
So for Bajaj, like the first test, that is the written test, it is very important. Like if you clear that, then interviews are a bit easy. So for the test, I would say thermodynamics is like the very important topic, and then design of machine elements or dynamics of machine. These are some topics you have to study uh, about the screws and all. And mostly second year students do not have these courses. These are third year courses. So second year students should revise, like should learn from concept from internet and all. You can revise the gate questions. Mostly Bajaj asks from the gate question banks, so you can practice from the gate question bank. Uh, and in thermodynamics, just like Otto cycle and diesel cycle, whatever are used in the industry, and what is the real application of this theory in industry, that you have to study.
Okay, that's nice. So moving on, Anubhav, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah, so for like for last moment preparation, it's just focus on the core fundamental concepts whatever taught till the current semester. For BTech students, it must be like just the digital electronics, but just focus on the very fundamental stuff. They don't ask in much detail. They just ask. They just want to know if your fundamentals are clear or not. Uh, it's and also go through the RLC circuits. They don't ask to solve. They rather ask to explain intuitively what is going to happen. So it's better to have a very good grasp on RLC circuits and Fourier series transforms. So these are very fundamental concepts. So they focus much on these things. And first year PDS is also helpful. And it's better to solve as many as questions as possible because tests will be having a lot of questions. So it's better to have a good speed.
Okay, thank you.
So, as we move forward, one question that many of us have is how many profiles should one prepare for so as to maximize the chances of getting a good internship? Prajwal, what are your views on this?
I would say like don't maximize getting like chances of getting an internship. Like you should see further on the career, like 3 4 years from now. So if you are like sure that you want to go to in mechanical core, then there are like companies are a little bit less, but you don't have to worry about the so many profiles. You can also uh, take some projects from research projects from top of that. They can help you in your placement. But like if you're not sure about core, like if you have done CP and some machine learning or some data science, then like you can prepare for other profiles also. But for mechanical core, like also although the companies are less, but you don't have to worry about them.
Okay, that's good. Anubhav, could you please go next?
Yeah, sure. So, okay, so like it totally depends on someone. If you are that sure that I want to go in this profile only, then you don't need to really prepare for any other profile. Like for me, it was fixed that I want to work in digital profile only. I don't want to apply for any other profile. So I just focused on only one profile. But if you are still confused, then it's better to prepare for at least 2 3 profiles. Like in core, what happens? There are in total 4 profiles for EC: analog, digital, embedded systems, and signal processing. So for dual degree students, it's possible to apply for all the profiles because for them all the courses are covered. But for BTech students, signal processing and embedded systems will be bit difficult. So for them, they can try for digital and analog. And if you somehow wanted to maximize, then like chances of getting selected, then it's better to prepare for digital profile because all the companies have this profile and they take a lot of students. So in digital profile, lot of students are selected. For analog, it's only 2 companies, 2 to 3 companies. For embedded systems, also it's only 2 to 3, and signal processing also same. For digital, every companies have. So if you just want to get selected and like somehow want to maximize your selection chances, it's better to prepare for digital. But I would suggest prepare at least for 2 profiles if you are not
Okay,
sure how many profiles to select. Then
yeah, so that was pretty insightful. Prince? Please share your experience on this.
Yes, since there are only limited number of opportunities in course, so you can try for some more profiles like you can do CP or some MLDL. So since there are more companies there, so but the problem is that if you have not confirm, like if you are confused that code is something that like you should try and you are just confused, so I would suggest to prepare DSA and ML as well. For example, in LAM research, I was selected for core profile, but when I came here, I utilized my data skills and DSA skills here because I'm working in automation domain here. So I like it's good to have DSA skills and ML skills apart from core skills. That will also increase your chances in getting an intern through CDC because there are more number of companies for that profile.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure that would be indeed helpful for all the aspirants.
Now we have our next question. What are some of the specific questions that the interviewer asks? Could you highlight the main components of the interview and ways to tackle them? So, Anubhav, would you like to begin?
Yeah. Okay, so the very first thing I would like to say is that don't fake anything on CV. For me, what happened, my CV was shortlisted for Google Hardware, and I wrote Python, but I still didn't know anything. And I like asked seniors whether I should write it or not. He said that like some seniors said don't write it, some seniors said that it's fine, no one will see. But throughout my whole interview, they just see Python on my CV and they ask 2 3 questions, and I was not able to answer them. So it's better to not write anything if you are not confident about that. And yes, rest, be confident about what you say. Don't like, and if you are somewhere stuck, then ask interviewer. They are always there to help. Keep interacting with them. If they give any question, then don't be silent. Don't just keep on solving. Tell them how are you solving the question. Tell them your approach. If they find your approach to be wrong, or like if they find that you are somehow going in a wrong direction, then they will help you. Like this happened with me in the Nvidia interview. Like they gave me a puzzle question which I was solving, but I was not solving it properly. So but I was like telling them what are my steps. So when they saw that I am going in a wrong direction, so they said that try it this way. So yeah, just keep talking to them. Also, yeah. So yeah, that's all.
Okay, that was worth listening. Prince, please share your insights on this.
Yes, for interviews, first look at the website of the company, what they are working and what are their plans for future. And while in the introduction, tell them introduce yourself accordingly. If that company is requiring something about thermodynamics, then just in the introduction only tell that you are in like. Uh, like you are interested in thermodynamics. For example, in LAM research, I mean, I introduced myself that I am interested in mathematics and thermodynamics. So, like, and then they ask, like, do you, are you able to solve like tough mathematical equations? So I told yes, and then this was the major factor for selection. And in here only, I mean, they work on those equations. So and that will help. And in the interview, just be confident. I know one of my friend who was just rejected because he wrote something about Microsoft Excel in his CV, and he he don't know much about Microsoft Excel, and he was just rejected just on the basis of that. So don't fake in CV. Just be confident and like prepare company as a specific whatever the company wants you to have. Just go through that one day before the interview. That will help you much. Thank you.
Okay, that was indeed insightful. So, Prajwal, would you like to share your approach to it?
So first point is all obviously don't fake your CV. If even don't try anything else other than core in your CV. Build your CV according to your profile. If you are preparing for multiple profiles, build the data science CV differently. Like you can prepare three CVs. So prepare one core CV specifically because in like most of the companies, in core companies, the retention rate is the major problem. It's their major problem. So they just have to see that if you are interested in mechanical core, first round is obviously technical. So after that, in HR round, the retention like these questions you can get. Also, one more point: don't tell them about you want to do any masters and all. They ask that if do you want to do any masters. Uh, just say that I want to go into the industry and whatever industry like in my case it's automotive industry. I told them that after 5 years I see myself in the automotive industry. That's it. About the preparation, before interview, if you are selected for the interview, a day before that, bring your two, three your friends and get some mock interview. Give them your CV and let them ask you questions. So whatever questions you can get from that CV, that will help a lot in interview preparation. Yeah.
Okay, that was informative.
Yeah. So now when it comes to preparation, aspirants would surely like to know the important topics and areas they should focus more on. Would any of the panelists like to clear this up? Prince, would you like to begin?
Yes, like for mechanical, I mean, this should be company specific. For example, Bajaj. For Bajaj, you should be confident in internal combustion engines and thermodynamic cycles. And for example, for LAM research, you should have knowledge of mechanical system designs, C++, Java, and some MLDL. So since LAM research comes here for automation domain, so they'll be requiring knowledge in all the domains, not just mechanical engineering. So prepare that and just be confident and do go through some HR questions as well, because that interview is more important. Important as well. So that's it.
Yeah, that's great. Prajwal, would you like to go next?
Yes. So for Bajaj, we're in automotive industry. So IC engine is half of my interview was upon IC engine only. So because I was studying, like it was good. Then design of machine elements in any production or any manufacturing facility, like machine elements and their maintenance, that is a major issue. So design of machine elements, the failure modes, dynamics of machine, kinematics of machine. These are the important topics you should study. Yes, that's it.
That's nice. Anubhav, please share your insights on this.
Yeah, so like the more important topics are basically the fundamentals only. They don't ask in details. RLC circuit, it's taught in first year only, but they will go in very detail about this. For example, in Texas Instrument, even in any profile like in analog or digital, doesn't matter. They will give you a RLC circuit and they will say that at time t equal to 0, let's suppose I apply a 5 volts or something like a step input. So just tell me how the output will be how will the output vary at any point. They won't give you any values or something. They will just ask you the intuition behind your solution. So they just want to see what how you are approaching the circuit, and that's why these things are very important. So it's better to have a good grasp on RLC circuits than Fourier series. It's better to and also KCL, KVL. These things are very fundamental stuff. And then the core concepts like for digital profile, I'll tell. Uh, People think that a lot of tricky questions will be asked from computer architecture or something, but it's not like that. They will ask very basic stuff like what is flip flops, and these are like just the beginning of course. Like for sequential circuits, they are just the beginning. They are not very complicated thing. They will just ask they will give you two three components and they will ask you to combine them and make a new component. So it's that's why solving questions comes like helps these things a lot. For me, they asked me to design a D flip flop using 2 to 1 mux or JK flip flop using multiplexers and D flip flop. So these types of questions are mostly asked. And Texas Instruments also, they just see if you are able to answer the RLC circuits properly, then your chances are very much that you will be selected, because the questions after that will be quite easy. So focus on these things, and yes, practice questions. Do as much as solve as many as circuits possible. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you. I'm sure that would be helpful for the ones preparing for internships.
Moving on. So, how is the selection process different for a BTech and a dual degree student? Do they conduct different tests and rounds of selection? So, Prince, please share your views on this.
Uh, Sorry, like my microphone was not working. Okay, it is same for BTech and MTech guys, but in the interview they will ask you what all subjects have you done till now, and they'll ask you questions related to that only. It happened to me in some of the interviews as well. So I mean, all the companies who come for core profiles, I mean, they'll definitely. I mean, if you have done fifth or sixth semester, there are certain industry level subjects that you will study in fifth and sixth semester. Only those subjects are more useful if you want to do an internship in core. But if you will tell that you haven't done that, and but you can explain thermodynamics or fluid mechanics, just tell these all subjects. These are quite common in all the companies. So I mean, you're good to go. I mean, apart from this, only there are some tests like in Bajaj and Dr. Reddy's. They'll ask you questions from fifth and sixth semester in the test, but in the interview it does not matter much. Okay.
Okay, that was nice. So, Anubhav, we would like to hear from you on the same.
Yeah. Okay. So like there is definitely a difference between BTech and dual, but in the test this is same. Like the same test will be for BTech as well as dual. So it for analog and digital profile, it won't be any different for BTech students also, because like they have also done their courses. And regarding computer architecture, it is not really asked in the test. Sometimes one question may come, but that is also very rare. For signal systems, like signal processing profile, it will be a bit difficult for BTech students, because they ask some questions from DSP, which is taught in sixth semester. Like, in our time, I guess there were some questions from filters as well. So it may be a bit difficult for signal processing. But again, for embedded systems also, it's mostly programming, so it's not much different. Regarding interview, if you are a BTech student, then it's better to tell them directly that yes, I am a BTech student, so I haven't covered these courses. So they won't ask you questions from those like third year courses. Rest everything is just chill. Like they don't ask very difficult questions in the interview. If it's just a BTech student, then they will ask questions related to digital electronics only, very basic questions. And if it's a dual degree student, then he may ask questions from VLSI or computer architecture, extra, etc.
Okay, that's great. Prajwal, would you like to answer this question?
For Bajaj, the major difference is between the is in the selection test. So the test is same for all the students, but because the test contains some courses from fifth and sixth semester that you are not studied. Basically, it is like applied thermofluids and design of machine elements. So there is a disadvantage there, but in interviews, I don't think there is any disadvantage to the BTech students. Uh, in interviews, like they see your CV and whatever courses you have written there, they ask you from those courses only. And majorly interviews go from this coursework and the projects you have written. So if you prepare well for the test, you're good to go.
Thank you, Prajwal.
So moving ahead, is a project or internship, the earlier internship, necessary to get an internship or core profile? Anubhav, would you like to take up this question?
Yes. So, as I told, like BTech student, it doesn't really matter at all because they don't expect anything just at the end of second year. Because if you apply for any institute, like for any project in any institute, then also professor won't give because just the fundamental courses, just the introductory courses are covered till second year. So they won't give any project. It's very difficult to and for a internship in core profile, it's very difficult even for dual degree students to get through off campus. So dual degree students may have some project under any professor, they can write it. So yeah, for dual degree students, it's advised to have some projects because they already completed all the courses. But for BTech students, it's not an issue. They don't need to, like, it's not really required any project or internship. But a self project may help. Like it actually helps. Like it will tell that yes, I am interested. You may say that I'm interested, that's why I did this self project. There are a lot of websites where you can find the projects. Like there are a few websites like fpgaforstudent.com, or there are hackster.io, hackday. So yeah, projects can be found on these websites. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Prajwal, would you like to go next?
Yes. For mechanical core, like internship, it is not at all expected. They can expect some projects. It's good to have some projects. If it is like Kharagpur professor or any other IT professor, it's good. If you don't have any that kind of project, then you can also read any project you have done in your coursework. I think in DOM and all, you have some projects in as a course. So you should write those courses. But like it's good to have a research group also. Like if you are part of research group, it's good. But don't leave CV empty. Like you should have something to show your interest, that you are interested in code profile. So put a project like it's good to have. Yes.
That's nice. Yeah. So, Prince, we would like to hear also your views on this.
Yes, it's better to have a project in if you are applying for core profile, because in the complete interview they'll ask you. I mean, I am telling about mechanical code. So they'll complete ask everything about your project only. If you don't have, I would suggest to do some self projects in kinematics or related to thermodynamic cycles. You can make a piston, or you can design something in AutoCAD or SolidWorks. So that will give you an upper edge. If you are BTech and if you are MTech, then it's better to have like uh, I mean, two or three projects or one internship, because for LAM research, the complete discussion was based on my project only. The whole 1.5 hour was based on my project. So I mean, projects should be given a weight of 5 to 5. I mean, for mechanical core, and especially in the interviews. If you don't have, just do some self projects, and you do have time around like 1 month from now on, and so that, I mean, it's you should have something to talk in the interview. So it's quite advisable to have that. Okay.
Thank you, panelists.
One thing I would like to add on here, like if you are really not getting any idea about project and like want to have a certificate as well, so there are few Coursera guided projects which you can do. Like for uh, for EC, there is one uh, Nantu Tetris course. The part one is basically about how computer architecture only. So like it's just a very basic version. It can be completed within a week as well. So it's good if you can do that. You can apply for financial aid. And for mechanical also, there is one specialization on self-driving cars from University of Toronto. So the first course in that specialization is mostly about designing the kinematics and dynamics and implementing them on a simulator. So that may be helpful. So so it's better if you apply for the financial aid and get a certificate. That may help.
Thank you,
Okay,
Anubhav.
thank you.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next question. Are online courses worth writing in a resume? So, Prajwal, would you mind going first?
I guess in mechanical there are not a lot of online courses. As Anubhav mentioned, there is a course of self-driving cars. You can do that. There are some courses in controls and automation. Like industries are moving in the field of automation, so it's good to have those courses. If you are interested in fluid mechanics, then there are some courses about CFD. Mm, I think in Coursera you have a course on CFD. You can go there, but they don't expect any like in mechanical core major courses are taught in college, so they know that there are not many online courses. So that's it.
Okay, that was a proper guidance. So, Prince, would you mind going next?
Yeah, in mechanical, you don't need to do anything extra apart from your curriculum. But if you like online courses like ML, the NG course, and some courses related to self-driving cars or computational fluid dynamics or design, those courses will help you a lot in the interview. And yes, as Anubhav suggested, uh, you can do. I mean, there is one course I can suggest about self-driving cars that will help you in automation industry. I exactly forgot that now, but I'll comment in the chat at the end of the interview. Okay.
Okay, that was nice. So, moving on, Anubhav, would you like to add something to this?
Yes, so yeah, it's better to write online courses if you are really doing it. Like, I also written 2 3 courses. I was a BTech student that time and then applied. So I wrote a course on Verilog because that is something which I have to work on. Like, in the digital profile, if you are selected, then you will be working on Verilog system, Verilog only. So I studied from that from NPTL. Although I didn't have any certificate, so I wrote it as a MOOC course. So yeah, if you know, then you can write it, but make sure that you write only if you know the course. I just wrote 2 courses, that is computer architecture and then Verilog. That's it. Yeah, if you know the course, then it's better to write. Also tell in the interview that I know I have studied these courses online, although this wasn't taught in the semester. So that can show that yes, you are really interested for that profile. It's how you present yourself in the interview. They won't, like, you have to tell them that yes, I am interested, I have done these things. They won't ask you directly. It's everything up to like your only.
Okay, that was informative.
So now we are opening up the chat box. Audience, please feel free to post your unresolved queries and we'll take up your questions from there. Panelists, we would be waiting for the questions and then we'll ask you to answer. Yeah, so we have the first question and it's posted by Aryan. It says, what topics other than the depth subjects do companies touch upon in the written round or interview? So would any of the panelists like to answer this?
Okay, I'll answer it. So like for me, like in NVIDIA, they did ask about basics of programming, but that was just limited to first year. But I would suggest doing STL as well because 1 year ago they asked a question related to vector. But yeah, they won't go in details. They won't ask CP. It's mostly related to first year PDS. Additionally, if you want to do STL, it's fine. If you don't want to do, then also it's fine. Just one question or maybe two. And they will ask questions from probability as well. There will be questions from probability. So yeah, it's better to go through the probability course as well. If covered, then it's fine. But if not really covered, then learn online. The probability is also not like very difficult. It is mostly the JE stuff. And I would suggest going through the hard on street first chapter, because in an interview they may ask questions related to puzzle also. Also, it's not like in every interview they will ask, but like for me, I gave total three interviews, and only in Nvidia I was asked about puzzles, and that also because a lot of time was left, so that's why they asked me. But if you don't go with puzzles, then also it's fine. But it's good to have the like go through the first chapter. It won't take much time.
Thank you, Anubhav. Would any of the panelists like to add upon this?
Yes, I'm audible. In the MCQ test of Bajaj, there are 90 questions and 45 questions are from mechanical, 45 are from probability, quant or English and all. You can brush up concepts of probability and mental ability. Other than that, everything is asked from coursework only. Thermodynamics is the first thing you should study, and other things like everything is covered in coursework.
Prince, would like to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, do a course on probability and statistics. There's a course named Stat 110. That is a nice course. You can do that and solve some puzzles on GFG and Hard on the Street and solve a probability book. I mean, that is there 50 challenging problems. You can solve that. And in fact, even if you are targeting for core profile, I mean, uh, strengthen your DSA skills. In my interview, they asked me about Floyd-Warshall algorithm in graphs. So that was a core profile. Still, they asked me. So it is better to, at least you can take the algorithms course in your third semester, third or fourth semester, I guess. So it's better to prepare that as well. Okay.
Thank you, panelists. We have one more question from the audience. From where should we practice questions like, can you suggest some standard books for ECE core profile?
Okay, so regarding questions, see for digital profile, there is a book, Morris Mano. I studied and did questions from then there only. For analog, Razavi is enough. Like just solve the questions from Razavi, or gate questions will also work. For signal processing and embedded system, I really don't have any idea about signal processing. But yeah, gate questions, like solve the gate questions, that will be okay. For embedded systems, they ask programming based questions, so it's more about like doing programming, uh, coding and all. For and yeah, there are some other topics that you should touch upon. Like there is a static timing analysis. So these are some VLSI concepts. So one or two question may be asked for this only. So it's better to go through these topics as well.
Okay. Would any of the other panelists like to answer this?
Yes, for mechanical, I do not think that you should follow any books for the internship. Just there are certain topics in thermodynamics, like thermodynamic cycles are there. In design, failure theories is there, and there are some limited number of topics. So you can if you search on YouTube like thermodynamics interview questions, you will just get all the questions that they'll ask you. So just prepare that only. If you have done this course well, so you will be able to understand the concepts. And if you want to follow a book, I'd suggest go for some gate books, because like in the questions that they will ask you in the test, they will be based on that only.
Yes, like for mechanical, for the first test of the Bajaj, like everything comes from the gate standard questions. So thermodynamics, like especially IC engine standard questions, and the design of material elements. You can practice those from any gate question bank. And for learning, like you can go through some NPTEL videos of thermodynamics. There is no requirement of any book.
Okay, thank you, panelist. And we have one more question. So it says, I am able to understand a Python code by comparing it to C or C++ and able to write simple codes with the help of Google at times. Should I still skip it given I am not conversant in it? And he is looking for core between core mechanical profiles.
Okay, I mean, I'd suggest like, yeah, you can write, but in the interviews, they won't ask if you are sitting for data profile, so they'll ask you questions related to pandas and matplotlib. I mean, they won't be much difficult question. It will be just like that. If I mean, you have to write a program to change something, or you have to write a program to add a new column matrix in the data frame. So it will be quite easy. But if you can understand the Python code, I mean, so you can write it as well. So it's better to write that, because Python will give you an edge. Like I mean, the companies which come for data profiles, in almost 40 to 50% of the companies, eh, I mean, in the coding around, they'll only ask you to code in Python only. So I mean, that will become a key there. So prepare it.
Yes, if you know the basics, you should write it in the CV, even if you are not comfortable in programming, especially in core, like the, the role which Prince is in. I don't think they would let ask you to share your screen and write some code. They would ask some theory questions. So if you like everybody does googling, so there is no bad in it. If you are preparing for data like data or HT roles, then it should be a problem. But for core, I don't think there is any problem.
Okay, and Anubhav, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so coding regarding coding in EC core, I told you it's mostly the first year PDS only. Uh, Apart from that, Google hardware asks bit coding questions in like in the second round of interview. So that Google hardware goes a bit in CP. Rest all the companies are mostly with first year PDS only. Nvidia also relied just on sorting questions. Like they asked me regarding selection sort, insertion sort, always. So it's not much of coding in this core profile. Yeah, but I would suggest going through Verilog once. That may help because Verilog is something that are used in industries. Like at least practice two three basic codes in Verilog. There was one or two. There are two questions asked in Texas Instrument as well on the Verilog.
Yeah, okay. So we would be waiting for a couple of minutes more to find if any question is there.
Yes, NPTEL courses are sufficient. Just write it as a MOOC course, but have the knowledge about prob and stats.
Uh, yeah, so any other panelist would like to add?
What is the question?
Yeah, I'm reading out the question once. Given that the Department of Mechanical doesn't offer program statistics course during or before the internship rounds, should one go for a formal probability statistics course like NPTEL or mid to CW just for this, or fundamentals from high school probability stats are sufficient?
I think for any test or any mental ability rounds, I don't think any course is required. But I think there is Harvard 101 Stats 101 course by Harvard University on YouTube. You can offer that course, but it's not required actually. If you are comfortable in there is two books like Banalist said, 50 problems in probability and Heard on the Street, uh, first chapter. If you are completed that, then you are good to go.
Okay, so
Uh,
Prince, yeah.
yeah. So I'd suggest to complete this STAT 110 course because this is a quite nice course, and in fact, I mean, if you'll do 50 challenges, challenging problems or hard on the street, there will be some questions where will have to remember the results only because you cannot. I mean, you do not know the mathematics behind those questions. So I'd suggest. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prince, you're audible.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd suggest to go for Stat 110 course because this will help you in all the profiles. I mean, that you are targeting for. Even I mean I mean, you can. This will help you in finance also.
Yeah, okay, panelists. So, as we move to the end of the discussion, would you like to give any Funday for the CDC Junta? So, Prajwal, would you like to begin?
Okay. So CDC is like the see, you have to see CDC as a career point of view. Just don't get an internship for the role for the sake of getting in. It is very competitive. Like I think one third of the total students gets an internship. So like you have to see from like in future like what role you want to go in, what industry you are opting for. That's it. And be chill, like you are like in our case we were pro- whole process was online, but in your case you will be in campus, you will be surrounded by your friends. Get help get help from your seniors, especially connect with them, like starting from CV preparation. Get your CV check from 2 or 3 seniors, that is like must do for everyone. Before any interview, ask the previous interview experiences for your seniors, and that's it.
Anubhav?
Yes, so I would like to add few other points like see the process is going to be too hectic. The shortlist would be coming at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and then the interview process will be starting from 7 to 8 a.m. So have proper sleep, like eat food properly, like be fit as well. Don't just wait till the end, like don't keep on waiting for whole night for seeing the shortlist. I would suggest sleep early and then get up early in the morning and then see if you are shortlisted or not. So like it's more to the main thing is to have be just keep remain calm, okay? Because this process is really too hectic. Initial days will be too much. You will be having multiple interview. Like see, for core profile, it's fine, but for SD and other profiles, there will be multiple interviews. Possible, like there is a possibility of multiple interviews, so there will be too much rush. So, and also, if you are not selected for some company, let's suppose, then it's better to not get depressed and like apply for next. See what to do after that. Don't just get depressed on that only. And yes, there are a lot of other opportunities as well. It's not that only you have to get somehow in this CDC only. It's fine if you don't get. Apply for FTs or off campus. So just don't get depressed. Keep learning. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Also keep talking to friends. That really helps.
That was pretty insightful. Prince.
The, yes, the CDC process becomes, I mean, bit hectic, but I think do not worry about this because there are many opportunities off campus. I mean, after 3 or 4 years, you will not even care about like which company you did internship in your third year. So I suggest to focus on your skills. I mean, just find what you like and be it a core or software or MLDL, just prepare in that, just improve your skills in that. And so, I mean, even if you are not able to get an internship through CDC, so you can apply offline. And I mean, the first day you will apply, you will get an internship. There are many opportunities out there. So just take no load and just have peace.
Okay, thank you, panelists.
Coming to the conclusion of the seminar, first we would like to thank the panelists, Prince, Prajwal, and Anubhav, for giving us their precious time and sharing all their valuable insights with us today. Now, a word of gratitude to the audience. We sincerely appreciated your attention today, and that brings us to the end. We hope this seminar proves helpful for all of you.
Yeah, so this is the end of our session. You all are free to disperse. Just a small announcement before that. Tomorrow, we'll be focusing on the software profile. So, Janta, let's meet again tomorrow to get some fun days on the software profile. See you all. Have a nice day. Thank you again.